But probably bring it back to the lottery because I think Patty still has to go. Were you surprised the way Conor came out with those high kicks, those spinning wheel kicks?
No, not at all. He usually does a high kick, a spinning stuff, or he does I was ready for the rush, as you can see, so that's why I moved back, you know. So it sucks. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's not it. What it is you just tried a crazy move. You tried a crazy move. You tried a jumping roundhouse kick. And when you're in that position, when you throw that jumping roundhouse kick, if you don't land in a good way with a supporting leg, you put so much pressure on that knee. The way he landed, he threw the kick, he jumped up, he threw it, and he landed with his knee in the worst position.
Snaps his foot, and he winces in pain. Fuck! I fucking hate my life! This is the one fucking escape I get, and it's shit! And McGregor's just limping around like my fucking nan! Fuck!
I had the man weak in the knees, I guess, so. You know, all jokes aside, I just hope he's good, you know. I know Conor been battling some stuff. Looked like he really been changing. You know, he found God. He had his kids in there, so, you know, during the fight, you could obviously tell his demeanor changed, you know. And I was, you know, shout out to the ref. I was trying to tell the ref sooner, you know. Like, this guy's kids is front row, you know. I don't want to see him take unnecessary damage. Trying to stop the fight, but this is how crazy Conor is. The first time he's on the ground, I was punching him. He's like, fight. I was like, okay. That's why I backed up. I said, stand up there. Let's fight. And then he fell back down, and then the fight was called. When I saw him hurt, you know, I was like, man, come on. Like, you call this. He was done, you know, and he wanted to fight. Tried to stand up again, fell back down. I just hope him a speedy recovery, you know. It's all love to him. The man, like I said, is trying to change his life around, so, you know, sending prayers his way.
Yeah. You had a better look at it than anybody, and you identified it earlier. Do you think it was that first kick that he threw?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I did a UFC podcast before I came here, and me and Wonderboy was talking about it. Even with him walking into the octagon, it didn't seem, you know, it just didn't seem like the same Conor, you know. Like, I thought he stood there to fight, but like I thought he'd be a little bit more rowdy, a little bit more crazy. He looked like really, really calm, like super calm. So I was just kind of like, oh wow, let's see how this goes. And then of course I knew he was gonna attack me with something, and it was that kick. So, you know, it sucks.
Dana, can you? I think we're all trying to process everything. I guess, can we get your immediate thoughts? It felt like, honestly, one of the best fight cards of all time, and then we get to this weird main event ending. So I guess your immediate thoughts as you sit there right now.
Yeah, listen, everybody who knows anything about the fight business, and it's been a big topic of discussion leading up to this fight. 5 years off in this sport is rough. And like you said, great card, unbelievable. I mean, the Paddy Pimblett thing right before, you just feel it all in the air. Here we go. I mean, I was expecting at least a one-round war, or, you know, who knew what Conor was capable of as far as cardio or whatever else after a 5-year layoff. And, well, there you go. I mean, we're assuming blown ACL. I'm no doctor, but that's what I figured when I saw it, and doctors think the same thing too.
I was going to ask you, have you had a chance to talk to Conor? It sounds like you've talked to the medical team. Have you talked to Conor? Do we know exactly the extent of what happened?
I haven't. Is he coming out here? We'll see. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I think he left the arena, right?
Then the answer is no. We'll find out when he gets an MRI.
Max said right away, like, hey, man, well, now we got to set this thing up for a trilogy, right? I mean, is there any desire from that, from your point? I mean, you know promoting better than anyone. Like, does that even make sense to do a trilogy right now? Or the way that ended, do you have to go a different direction?
I don't even know. I don't know. You know, you got to take some time. And I don't know if you know this or not, but I don't like talking about making fights the night of the fight. But definitely not in this scenario.
When Conor McGregor stepped back into the octagon after years away from elite competition, the atmosphere inside the arena was unlike anything fans had experienced in recent memory. Every camera was locked onto the former two-division UFC champion. Every spectator was waiting to witness whether the Notorious could once again prove that he belonged among the sport's elite. Standing across from him, however, was not the same young Max Holloway he defeated more than a decade earlier. This was a completely different fighter, a battle-tested veteran, a former featherweight champion, and one of the greatest volume strikers in UFC history. From the opening seconds, Holloway looked composed, focused, and prepared for every possible attack McGregor could launch. Everyone expected Conor to come out aggressively with his trademark movement, explosive counters, spinning techniques, and powerful left hand. Instead, the fight took a shocking turn almost immediately. Holloway later admitted that he had fully prepared for McGregor's unpredictable striking arsenal, including spinning wheel kicks, jumping attacks, and explosive combinations. He explained that he anticipated Conor rushing forward early, which is why he constantly adjusted his distance and remained ready to move backward whenever McGregor exploded into range. Unfortunately for McGregor, one ambitious attack changed everything. As he launched a jumping roundhouse kick, his supporting leg landed awkwardly beneath him, placing enormous pressure on his knee. The angle of the landing looked unnatural, and within seconds the damage became obvious. The moment his foot touched the canvas, his knee buckled beneath him, forcing him into immediate pain. Fighters, coaches, and analysts watching cage-side instantly realized something had gone terribly wrong. Medical experts and former champions would later explain that when a fighter lands incorrectly after a jumping kick, the twisting force can place devastating stress on the ACL and surrounding ligaments. It was the kind of accident no athlete ever wants to experience, especially during the opening moments of a career-defining comeback. McGregor immediately reacted in visible agony, his frustration pouring out as he realized his long-awaited return might be ending before it had truly begun. Years of preparation, months of rehabilitation, and countless hours spent rebuilding his body after previous injuries suddenly seemed to disappear in a single heartbreaking moment. Holloway, despite being fully prepared to capitalize on every opening, quickly noticed that something was seriously wrong. While he maintained his competitive instincts, he also recognized that McGregor was no longer moving like a healthy fighter. Rather than celebrating the situation, Holloway later revealed that he actually tried to alert the referee because he could see McGregor's family sitting cage-side. Knowing that Conor's children were watching from the front row, Holloway wanted to prevent unnecessary punishment if the injury had already made the fight impossible to continue. Even while lying on the canvas, McGregor's warrior mentality refused to disappear. Holloway recalled that Conor repeatedly demanded the fight continue, urging everyone to let him stand and keep battling despite the obvious pain. Respecting that fighting spirit, Holloway briefly backed away and invited McGregor to get back to his feet if he truly could continue. But as soon as McGregor attempted to stand, his injured leg betrayed him once again, causing him to collapse back to the canvas. At that point, the referee had seen enough. The contest was officially waved off, ending one of the most anticipated UFC main events in the most unexpected way imaginable. Instead of celebrating an unforgettable war between two legends, the MMA world was left trying to understand what had just unfolded. Holloway's reaction afterwards spoke volumes about his character. Rather than mocking his longtime rival, he wished McGregor a speedy recovery and acknowledged that Conor appeared to be in a different place mentally than in previous years. Holloway mentioned how McGregor seemed calmer than ever before, spoke openly about his renewed faith, and appeared more focused on his family than the brash, trash-talking superstar fans had become accustomed to seeing. It was a noticeable change that many observers had also picked up before the fight even began. Some believed McGregor's calmer demeanor reflected maturity, while others wondered whether the fire that once made him one of the most dangerous competitors in combat sports had faded with time. Regardless of those opinions, nobody wanted to see the fight conclude because of a devastating injury. Fans had waited years to witness this rematch, hoping for another unforgettable chapter in one of the UFC's most fascinating rivalries. Instead, they were left with more questions than answers, beginning a debate that would dominate the MMA world long after the final bell had failed to ring. When Conor McGregor stepped back into the octagon after years away from elite competition, the atmosphere inside the arena was unlike anything fans had experienced in recent memory. Every camera was locked onto the former two-division UFC champion. Every spectator was waiting to witness whether the Notorious could once again prove that he belonged among the sport's elite. Standing across from him, however, was not the same young Max Holloway he defeated more than a decade earlier. This was a completely different fighter, a battle-tested veteran, a former featherweight champion, and one of the greatest volume strikers in UFC history. From the opening seconds, Holloway looked composed, focused, and prepared for every possible attack McGregor could launch. Everyone expected Conor to come out aggressively with his trademark movement, explosive counters, spinning techniques, and powerful left hand. Instead, the fight took a shocking turn almost immediately. Holloway later admitted that he had fully prepared for McGregor's unpredictable striking arsenal, including spinning wheel kicks, jumping attacks, and explosive combinations. He explained that he anticipated Conor rushing forward early, which is why he constantly adjusted his distance and remained ready to move backward whenever McGregor exploded into range. Unfortunately for McGregor, one ambitious attack changed everything. As he launched a jumping roundhouse kick, his supporting leg landed awkwardly beneath him, placing enormous pressure on his knee. The angle of the landing looked unnatural, and within seconds the damage became obvious. The moment his foot touched the canvas, his knee buckled beneath him, forcing him into immediate pain. Fighters, coaches, and analysts watching cage side instantly realized something had gone terribly wrong. Medical experts and former champions would later explain that when a fighter lands incorrectly after a jumping kick, the twisting force can place devastating stress on the ACL and surrounding ligaments. It was the kind of accident no athlete ever wants to experience,